Thank you. Let's all elevate together, Chrissy. Whatever that may mean. Thanks for attending. Elevate Uranium, as the name suggests, we are in the uranium sector. We weren't distracted by any other commodity. We've been in the sector since 2006, so we're not a fly-by-night company. We've not just arrived. We've been here for a long time. We've built up an asset base across 2 jurisdictions, geographically diverse in Namibia and Australia. We have £142 million across those 2 countries. We've got an extensive and diverse project pipeline, which I'll explain and show you in a minute. And we've got this disruptive beneficiation process we developed in-house a number of years ago, which works extremely well on these shallow superficial uranium deposits. We're aggressively drilling. We've got 100 drill holes coming out of Namibia per week, about to put a 5th rig on next week, go to 125 holes a week. We've got an experienced small team. We're strategically located, I'll explain that in a minute, in Namibia, and as we talked about on the panel, if you're here before the panel, uranium is the clean energy of the future. So corporately, small number of shares on issue, 308 million for an ASX listed company, that's a small number. 142 million, market cap's 148 today. Money in the bank as of the end of December, and no debt. So we're looking in pretty good shape there. From a major shareholder point of view, the 2 ETFs in the US are top 2, 3, 1 and 3 shareholders. Number 2 is Mrs. Hill, that's my wife, by the way, if you weren't sure, and other board members. So we've got a lot of skin in the game. We're aligned to shareholders. We certainly believe in the story, and I find it easy to tell because it's a good story to tell. So what we've got here is this diverse project pipeline we've got. Colour codes up there, the dark blue is the resource development and growth. The light blue is a resource definition, orange is exploration play, and all due respect to the previous speaker, the option play is Western Australia. So, you know, we've got some pretty good assets in the Namibia area of Namibia. The Marinika is in the central Orongo area, and we've got Angela in the Northern Territory of Australia. So all reasonably good jurisdictions to operate in from a uranium perspective. So Namibia, if you're here for the panel, Namibia is the only country in the world, the dedicated Uranium Association. It's a conduit between explorers, producers, developers, and government, general public, and they do a fantastic job of promoting the country. Rossing have been operating since 1976 on a continuous basis. That's 48 years of continuously operating. So that's 2 generations of Namibians very familiar with uranium mining. Husab been developed, Paladin's, Langer Heinrich, Orano's Tribeca project in the last 18 years. Bannerman, Deep Yellow adjacent to us, just got mining licences only in December last year. So we've got a history of developing uranium projects, and we don't see any reason that we wouldn't be able to licence ours in the future. We're looking for shallow uranium deposits, so we concentrate in 2 areas. We're looking for uranium that's, as granites have weathered over millions of years, they've leached the uranium out. It's flowed down through old river systems and reprecipitated. So that's what we're looking for. So down in the Namibia area in the bottom left, bottom right of this slide, we went upstream from known deposits. And as I said before, those known deposits were discovered by General Mining, who morphed into GenCore back in the late 70s, early 80s. Our discoveries in the Namibia area are discoveries. They weren't bought. So the flagship Copies project, we've got £48 million there. We announced a resource update in November of last year. We're drilling 25 holes per rig on this project per week. So we've currently got 3 rigs on it, so there's 75 holes a week coming out of this project. Each hole costs us $1,000 a hole. That's as cheap as you can get, inexpensive exploration and effective exploration. 4 discoveries in 4 years in Namibia. We've just done we're doing a resource update now. We're drilled down here in the Copies 4 area, and we're drilled up to the north, top of Copies 3. As we head to our lease boundary in the north and the south, mineralisation is getting thinner, which is great for us because we don't have the tenements either side. So the bulk of the mineralisation sitting in the middle of the tenement. So that resource update comes out in a few weeks' time. Just resource geologists working on it now, and that will sort of form the next one. We then move into indicator drilling on this project, and that'll increase the confidence level of resource. One thing I really like about this, and we talked about Athabasca Basin versus Namibia in our panel. Athabasca Basin, I think next gen's 400 metres deep or something or other. We're looking at 95% of the ore is within 15 metres of surface. So that's really, really shallow. So it's just going to be a surface miner cutting at 500 mil deep, and the strip ratio is going to be low. You'd expect, hence, that it's so shallow, the mining costs are also going to be low. So that's a really good project for us, and very encouraging, very shallow, and a large resource. Moving across to the country where I live, Australia, we've got, as I said, assets in Western Australia and also in the Northern Territory. So in the NT, we've got the Angela project, 31 million pound at 1300 ppm, good sized resource. We're going to do some work on that this year. We've identified the lens that's mineralised. It's a sandstone hosted dipping at 9 degrees. Seismic Works identified the lens that's mineralised. It's identified a lens underneath it that's never been drilled. So we want to go and drill that, see what's there. The other one is Minerva, 10 holes drilled with intercepts greater than 10,000 ppm. Now we're starting to talk about the Athabasca Basin grades, and very, very high for Australia. We want to go and drill that. It hasn't been drilled since 1978 when it was discovered. We want to go and drill that, see what the structure looks like, try and work out how to explore it further. So they're the two projects we're going to be working on in Australia. But the aggressive nature of what we do, we've got 5 drill rigs working as of next week. 3 of those right now are on copies. We want to take that resource into the indicated status. Here at Capri, another discoveries we've made in the last 4 years, we want to take those to maiden resources, right? So now you're starting to see the project pipeline, the growth projects. We want to drill rig on those, trying to find new discoveries. We want to make it 5 or 6 in 5 years, not just 4 in 4. And then we talked about the Northern Territory. So a lot happening there. So from a upgrade perspective, upgrade was developed out of necessity. We had the Marinique Uranium project, low-grade project. We wanted to do something innovative, otherwise we walked away. And what we did was developed a process called upgrade. It's where we actually concentrated the gangue minerals, the minerals that don't have uranium, and threw them away. That's counterintuitive. People don't think of doing things like that. So that makes it innovative and hence patentable. So we've got 3 patents around the world on this process, and it significantly reduces the cost base for us. You can imagine you're reducing mass all the way through. You reject greater than 95%. So less than 5% goes to the leach. Leach is the highest unit cost operation in a processing facility. So hence, a very small mass gets leached. And now so imagine that reduces CapEx and OpEx by around roughly 50%, but also gives us optionality as to where we take that concentrate. We leach it on site, or we take it off site and leach it in a third party. That's where this strategic location in Namibia is. Rossing been there for 48 years, excess capacity in refinery, as a potential potential location for us to leach and refine the concentrate. So a lot of benefits around it, a huge number of benefits around it that I could talk about for a long time. And if you want to talk about it, come to the booth and have a chat to us. Uranium shortage, we all know there's a supply-demand issue. Interesting, we talk to a few people that say lithium demand was built on future demand, or lithium market was built on future demand. Uranium market is built on current demand. And we're not meeting the demand for the nuclear reactors now. So how do you incentivise supply? The underlying commodity price has to go up. So hence, if you're on the panel, the consensus was $150, $175 a pound by the end of the year. And we're sitting currently at 85. So we all think the uranium price has gone up. You could say we're a little bit biased in our view, but that's where we sit with that. I do like to finish on this slide. This is not the Athabasca Basin. This is Namibia. Right, this is a Copies project. Copies in Afrikaans is a small hill. That's not a Murray hill, that's a small hill. Sorry, Chrissy, I had to throw that one in for you. And that's what it looks like. Just beyond the distance there, you can see that's Copies. We don't have to do a lot of clearing. We don't have too many issues with animals. And yeah, we're looking pretty good from a project point of view. You like that, don't you?
A really small hill. Did you get the right photo in your slide deck? Yeah. See, I didn't eat into any of your time. You still had 3 seconds left.
2 seconds left, and you consumed 45 of that.
There you are.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mario. He was a good man. Thank you so much.